Now to the latest on a case we've been following closely. A jury has reached a guilty verdict in the 2014 death of Tayclair Moore in Springfield. Western Mass News reporter Maria Wilson joins us live in studio with reaction from the victim's family. Maria.
Chris, the family of Tayclair Moore has waited 9 years for this verdict, and they say that they're relieved the case is finally over. A jury has found Frederick Pinney guilty of involuntary manslaughter in the 2014 death of his female housemate, Tayclair Moore. They lived in Pinney's Springfield home along with Moore's boyfriend at the time when she was killed. Western Mass News spoke with Moore's sister moments after the verdict was announced.
I'm just relieved that it's all over. My sister got the justice that she deserved. And it'll really come down to sentencing. My sister suffered the most severe consequences of his actions, so he should suffer the most severe consequences of his own.
Camden County District Attorney Anthony Gallooni also weighing in on the verdict.
It's a mixed reaction. I mean, there's some relief and some happiness that the right person was held responsible, but we indicted and pursued murder in the first degree, and that was ultimately what we think is just. But the jury came back with an involuntary manslaughter conviction.
The defense pointed fingers at Moore's boyfriend of 10 years, Chris Podurski, but the jury ultimately agreed with the prosecution's argument that the evidence pointed towards Pinney. Pinney faces up to 20 years in prison, and he will be sentenced on Friday. Reporting live in studio, Maria Wilson, Western Mass News.